Hi, my name is Gloria Ingram. I'm an educator, a parent, the oldest of 8 siblings, and I have just completed a book, Building Harmonious Parent-Child Relationships. It is a step-by-step guide to unlock effective communication, to promote positive behavior, and cultivate empathy. This book, I feel, is very important. And I have also started to create a workbook to go along with it. So as you read in the book, you can do some of the activities and principles that will help your family to become better. Now, in this video, I'm also writing about something that I consider real simple and it can be done if the family sticks together. It is a table. A table is more than just furniture or a place to eat. It really can help change family dynamics to from chaos to connection and help things to go a lot more positive. Now, in this video, I will be sharing uh, the table strategy and how this table strategy can help you to make the changes and also what you will gain if you really work it and you're serious about it, the entire family. You will discover that it's a safe place, a safe space, where you will have, you will find that respect, honesty, empathy, and emotional intelligence will grow, and all of the family will be able to recognize it and start to change many of the things that have been giving them problems. Stick with me, and I promise I will give you a roadway. It's not hard. I mean, it's not very easy to do, but I will give you a roadway to help your family actually be successful and make sure that there's harmony in the home. Now, what is the problem? The problem families today are struggling. Parents are stressed. Children are misunderstood. And too often, communication breaks down. But what if I told you a simple change, meeting at the table, can start to shift everything to positive? Now, the solution, this is, I call it the table strategy. And because it's um, such a safe space, you will see that everyone will be heard, because there can be no yelling. These are some of the rules and regulations. Once the family decides that they're going to do this table strategy, no yelling, no blaming, no uh, bullying, nothing but listening, talking, and growing. That's what you got to keep in mind the entire time. And you have to really deal with communication. In my book, chapter 2 is mostly about just that, communicating, all different kinds of communication and how you can change them so that everybody can be more positive and more understanding and can get things done. Now, there are rewards and consequences that you have to know and you have to abide by. I'm not going to say that you will start from the beginning, but you have to constantly work to do the principles that will ensure good communication, and it has to be consistent. Okay, you do it this week and then don't do it next week, that won't work. You may have to go back and start again because you want this to be successful. It is possible. I'm the oldest of 8, as I told you before, and there were times when we had disagreements. My father was a preacher. He believed in this principle without even knowing it. Because I was the oldest of the siblings, when something went wrong, after dinner, usually he would call me into the living room. Why did this happen? What could you have done? What will you do the next time? And that sort of helped me. It made me angry a lot of times because I didn't start it. I didn't know how it started, but I had to come up with ideas because if he came home and at the table somebody mentioned something that had happened, he didn't even look at them. He would just look at me because I know what's supposed to be done and it was my duty to do this. And then when my children came, I did the same thing. Now I worked 2 or 3 jobs. My husband and I separated, so I had to work a lot, and they knew that they had to. Uh, I was depending on them to do the right thing. But we discussed what had to be done. The only thing you'll find in my book that I can really say didn't work was I hated to walk in from, let's say, Penny's department store, and there were dishes in the sink. And they hated to do dishes. They still hate to do dishes. But that was a way that I kept trying to keep myself calm because I wanted to come in so many nights and just go off. But these are things that you have to work towards to make sure everybody can't be alike, and you have to adapt and adjust. And if you say you will be punished, you have to stick to it. I cannot tell you how important this thing is to be consistent. We must do this at that table. Another thing is you will feel equal. You won't feel like somebody is getting a better chance. And if so, you talk with another member in the family or talk with your parents, and then everybody will start working towards helping you to feel that you can be comfortable, you're in the right place. There's nobody at that table that's more important than you. Your parents will learn to be calm. They're tired too. Both of my parents had to work more than one job because there were so many of us. But as we really worked hard to try to do it, the bond between us really grew stronger. Now, also, my dad was a minister, so we didn't go anywhere mostly but church and school. So there weren't as many things out there to help us go in the negative direction. But I know that if you're positive and you're trying to do the right thing, things will go good with you. There were 2 things my daddy wanted us to do. One was to go to college, and one was to get a good job. And all of us went to college, and all of us got good jobs. Everybody has retired. My brother was the youngest, and he just retired not too long ago. But everybody, we stopped one job, we worked another job, and that came from us sticking together. Now, what will we gain from this table strategy? Um, Trust. You will learn to trust each other. Without trust, there can be no real relationship. Listen. We have to listen. Sometimes I don't. And I know it makes a difference when you do because you understand what that other person is trying to say to you. And you just say, wait a minute, just let me hear this thing out. And then you will get to hear what both sides are saying. And maybe you can come together and, change it. Or maybe you won't even want to do what you were doing at first anyway, because now you understand and trust each other and you listen. Another one, emotional outbursts. Sometimes you get angry. Before you know it, you're calling each other names. You're fighting. All of that is emotional intelligence. And doing this in my book, I talk about emotional intelligence. So if you have young children, this is a very good time to start helping them to not get angry, but find a way to redo what was just done. It might not come right away, but it can come. Give positive feedbacks. When you sit at that table, you first thing you wanted to discuss, whoever is in charge of that particular meeting will call your name so you can tell what did you do that was positive last week. Uh, who did something positive for you? and you get in that mindset, you want to always have something positive that to say that you had done. And the younger it is when you start that, the more it will go to, your adult age. So you want to really do that. Decision making. It includes more than just you. You got to come together and decide, what is it going to do? What is it going to be? Are we going to um, go outside today, or are we going to stay inside and play a game, let's say? Most of the time they will say, well, we played a game last week. There again, you're finding out, well, wait a minute, how do we be fair? Wherein before it might not even matter. I want to do what I want to do, you know. Share your feelings. Sometimes you're feeling something and you don't know if anybody else is feeling it, but then it's you tell what you feel and say, "Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I like that idea. Let's do that. Let's express it to the other people at the table when we go next week." Challenging behavior, consistent, consistent. I also taught when I worked for the Navy for 28 years, and when I uh, came out, I went back to teach school, and I worked with children who had IEPs. That means that they were usually having a learning problem or an emotional problem. So sometimes you had challenging behavior, and you had to find a way to balance it. To a lot of times, I can tell you though, from being there, I know I read a lot of the psychology, why they say it happens, but I saw a lot of bullying. And you need to find out, first of all, why is the bullying going on? Sometimes the bullying is going on because I can't get the grades that they can get. I can't get the clothes that they have. And then you may need to actually have a therapist to work along with you, and you talk with the parents, see what they can do. And if not, if they can't straighten it out, then you will have to, you know, maybe have therapy. I could tell you one time I had two boys, brothers, and they would get off the bus in the morning crying. And it was because they smelled like urine. Well, I always had an assistant, and I was not from Florida, I was from Virginia. And she said, well, Miss Gloria, we have showers in the bathroom. If we could bring clothes and soap and toothpaste, I think we could get rid of that bullying. So she took it upon herself to meet that bus with a brown bag that had soap and toothpaste in it. And I started bringing clothes, and I would tell people about my two boys, and they would bring clothes. And then we had washing machines too. I forgot that. So we would wash the machine and wash them in the machine and iron the clothes. So guess what? Eventually, there was no bullying, and everybody got off the bus happy. Empathy, that's when you show that you understand and you care for others. um, you build your self confidence, you become independent. It's not magic, it's a habit. We have to do this. So now, if you feel that I have said something today that you and your family can work with, please subscribe to this channel and uh, give weekly uh, suggestions, or tell what you have done that was good, because I will be putting that out. I will, even as I find anything new, if I know your problem, I know what to look for. So I'll be able to share that at our next meeting. Write comments below so that we can stay in touch. Remember, transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it begins with one step, and that one step is the table strategy. Thank you.